The tree of knowledge, or sexuality, was present alongside all the other aspects of existence. It is even recognized as an important presence in Eden, alongside the tree of life. And in the tradition of the Kabbalah, these two trees are said to share the same roots. However, unlike any other tree in Eden, Adam and Eve were only allowed to enjoy the tree of knowledge without indulging in its fruit.
For as soon as you eat of it, you shall die.
While in Eden, Adam and Eve only knew divinity and innocence, and thus inherently respected the laws of creation. In their innocence, they were ignorant of the consequences of indulging in the fruit of sexuality. Tremendous energy is harnessed in the sexual act between a man and a woman. It is in this coitus that humanity has the God-given capacity to create. Man is the active force, the reflection of God the Father. Woman as the receptive force, the reflection of God the Mother, and sex as the force that brings them together. These are the three forces that give rise to all of creation, and this is the foundation of the universal symbol of the Trinity. The Trinity is a unity of three that express as one. But in order to create, this one divides itself in two, male and female. This is the mystery of the Holy Spirit, the fecundating fire of God, symbolized in India as Shiva Shakti, the creative and destructive power of God. One of the most sacred symbols of Shiva, the Holy Spirit, is the lingam yoni, the intersection of the phallus and uterus. The same symbol is found on the other side of the world, in the alchemical tradition. The force that powers all creation, on all levels of existence, is sexual energy. Sexual energy is symbolized by fire, by water, and by light. In the tradition of alchemy, the sexual energy is symbolized by Mercury. When we strike upon the foundation stone, the rock, we find the waters of life. The ancient ritual of baptism is a symbol of the transmutation of sexual energy, the source of salvation. All of life is born of the sexual waters. The power of creation, harnessing the force of that electric energy, implies a great responsibility. At the time of Adam and Eve, sex was only practiced in the temples under the guidance of the Elohim. Gabriel and his legions of angels were guiding humanity in this holy ritual, as indicated by his recurrence in the Bible announcing the arrival of children. Gabriel is the regent of the moon, and directly influences all forms of conception. At certain times of the year, the husband and wife would travel long distances in order to be instructed in the sexual mysteries. This is the long forgotten root of the modern practice of the honeymoon. Thus the angels supervised this holy sacrament and guided a single sperm to meet an egg in the precise moment needed to engender a deliberate and divine child. The wasteful expulsion of energy and semen through the orgasm was not and is not required to create a child. This is, in fact, the hidden meaning of the term immaculate conception. Immaculate means perfectly clean.
When a man has an emission of semen, he shall bathe his whole body in water and remain unclean until evening.
To indulge in the fruit of sexuality means to spill the sexual energy, to orgasm, to taste the divine energy that illuminates the soul, in order to feel physical sensation. Thus, the energy used to maintain the physical and spiritual vitality of the individual is expelled through the orgasm. Adam and Eve, as a symbol of men and women of the ancient past, ate of the forbidden fruit of the tree of knowledge, or the secret knowledge of sexuality. They abused the sexual energy in their own bodies by having the orgasm, and therefore they broke the most fundamental rule they had been given. It is very important that the tremendous energy that gives mankind the ability to create be used efficiently, because it is connected to the same energetic force that sustains the individual's own vitality. It is well known that the sexual energy is intimately related to the health of our psyche and our physical bodies. Not only is it necessary for sustaining physical vitality, and thus the 5 physical senses, but also the vitality of the 7 superior senses that unites mankind to the divine. Without the sexual energy, the soul atrophies, breaking our connection with God. When we expel the sexual energy, we expel the energy that fuels our inner senses. This is why those who fornicate, who expel the sexual energy through the orgasm, cannot perceive God directly. The orgasm is symbolized in the poisoned apple given to Snow White. While sweet to the taste of the physical senses, it is poison to the soul. Eating it results in unconsciousness and an eternity of sleep. The universal story of maidens and virtuous heroes falling asleep is an allegory illustrating the sleep of the consciousness, the state in which the human being loses the direct personal knowledge of God and the higher realms of nature. This is why the fruit of the tree of knowledge was forbidden to eat. Before the abuse of the tree of knowledge, sex was treated with the utmost respect, and the orgasm was unknown to mankind and unnecessary. Husband joined wife in the sexual act according to the laws given to them by Jehovah Elohim. They enjoyed the tree of knowledge, sexuality, but did not eat of its fruit. This was the genesis of the distinction between good and evil. A humanity that knew only goodness ate of the forbidden fruit and discovered animal desire, which always leads to suffering and pain. This is the Pandora's box or vase of Greek mythology, which when opened, releases the agents of evil into the world: fear, pride, shame.
And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And Adam said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
Through the discovery of the orgasm, Adam learned to be afraid, to be ashamed. As promised by the tempting serpent, humanity gained new knowledge, the knowledge of suffering. In tasting the forbidden fruit, Adam learned desire. From this moment, right and wrong is filtered subjectively through the need to feel pleasure and avoid suffering.
And Jehovah Elohim said, Behold, the man has become as one of us, to know good and evil.
Humanity had already known good, innocence, purity, and simplicity. Now humanity also knew evil, shame, fear, pain, emptiness. Now humanity knew what the Elohim knew, that desire leads to suffering.
Desire caused all the gods to fall from their places, and it is desire that leads all creatures to hell.
Desire is craving, and craving is suffering. Desire always leads to suffering. This is the message that is inherent in every great religion. The slave of desire is a slave of sin, and only suffering and death await him.
Through the abandonment of desire, the deathless state is realized.
Thus, stripped of their connection to the divine, Adam and Eve, as symbols of humanity, were cast out of Eden to wander in a wilderness of suffering and ignorance.
And to the woman he said, I will make most severe your pains in childbirth. In pain shall you bear children.
Rejecting the laws of Jehovah and the guidance of the Elohim, humanity attempted to have children on its own. And in the end, conception and childbirth happened out of balance with nature. And the result was pain and hardship. By using the sexual force to stimulate desire, the fire of Eve became inverted, flowing in the opposite direction. The serpent fell, forming the famous tail of Satan, stimulating the 7 inverted virtues, the 7 capital sins.